Hey children, so I'm here to help you with some problems from your homework. Again, we're trying to figure out what the missing piece is, if we know what the slope is, and we kind of know most of the points. So, in this first problem, the first thing I want to do is, of course, it'd be good for me to label these. So I'm going to go ahead and label x1, y1, x2, y2. And then I'm going to write my formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then I'm going to fill this in because I know what those are. Well, at least I know what most of them are. So y2 is actually z. I don't know what z is. It's my job to figure out what z should be in order to make this slope actually correct. So write z minus a negative 9 on top of 5 minus a negative 1. So in both of these cases, I need to do keep, flip, change. So keep, flip, change, keep, flip, change. So on the top, I have z plus 9, and on the bottom, I have 5 plus 1, which is 6. Okay? So right now, that may seem a little bit confusing to you, and you're like, I don't know how to figure out what z is. Well, luckily for us, we know what the slope should be. So I know z plus 9 over 6 should equal 1/2. Okay? So now, if I wanted to, I can solve for z by undoing these operations. So here, this entire top portion, which includes z, is being divided by 6. So in order to help get z by itself, the first thing I would need to do is to get rid of this division by 6. And we all know that multiplication is what undoes division. So I know I'm going to have to multiply both sides by something. And since I'm dividing by 6, in order to undo that, I want to multiply both sides by 6 because that's what's going to cancel it out. So I do that cancels out this 6. I get z plus 9. And now on this side, what's half of 6? Well, half of 6 is 3. Okay? And then the last thing I want to do is I want to solve for z. So here I have z plus 9 equals 3. I would take away 9 from each side. I get z equals 3 take away 9 gives me negative 6. So now I know this point up here at the top has to actually be 5, negative 6 for me to get that slope right there. Okay? So a lot of these problems are different, so don't worry, I'm still going to do at least one more example. Let's take a look at this one here. I'm going to do the same thing I started with. I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. And then I'm going to write my slope formula, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, this is a fraction bar. It's not a line, it's a fraction bar. It means divide. So if you want to talk about it, don't say line. Say divided by x2 minus x1, or you can say fraction bar x2 minus x1. Okay, then I want to plug things in. I know y2 is 8. I don't know y1, so I'm just going to put minus z divided by negative 5 minus negative 4. Whoops. Okay, on the bottom I do keep, flip, change. I got 8 minus z over negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. And here again, you may think, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do here. And that's fine. We're going to figure it out. Okay? Right now, this is what I know the slope is, but they also tell me the slope is 1 over 1. So if I know that this is the slope, and I know that this is the slope, then I know these two things have to be equal to each other. So I'm going to set them equal to each other. I'm going to write 8 minus z over negative 1 equals 1 over 1. Well, if I want to get rid of this negative 1, just like we did in the last problem, I would multiply by negative 1 on both sides. It cancels out. I get 8 minus z equals, do I really need to write 1 over 1 there? I don't, because 1 over 1 is really just 1, and 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And at this point, I'm solving for z. So I can take away 8 from both sides, and I get negative z equals negative 9. Or as we know, if negative z equals negative 9, then positive z has to equal positive 9. And we're done. So I know this point up here has to actually be negative 4 comma 9 in order for us to get a slope of 1 when we use the slope formula. Okay, let's do one more example. Let's do number 3. I'm going to start the exact same way. I want to first label my points. So I'm going to go in x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to write down my formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to start to plug it in. Negative 1 minus negative 3 over negative 7 minus z. Keep flip change at the top. That gives me 2 over negative 7 minus z. And again, we're at this point where I'm not really too sure what z has to be. Let me make this a little more clear because this 2 is confusing. This is a 2. This is a z. Okay? But I do know that both of these are my slope here and that these should be equal to each other. As you can see up here, I have the negative in front of the fraction. Now that gives me some options. That means I can either write the negative with the 2 or I can write the negative with the 15. So what I'm seeing here is since the 2 is already the same, I'm actually going to put the negative with the 15 and see if that'll help me solve this problem a little bit easier. So I come down here. I know these two things should be equal to each other. So I know 2 over negative 7 minus z equals 2 over negative 15. So if these two are already the same, I need to figure out how to make these two the same. Okay? I can add 7 to both sides. I get negative z equals negative 8. And if negative z equals negative 8, that means positive z has to equal positive 8. That's it. So that lets me know that this point up here would have to be 8 comma negative 3 in order for this problem to have a slope of negative 2/15. Okay, so on your paper you have, if I can zoom out here, or not, I guess, I don't know. You have 5 more problems that you can get done. They all work in the exact same way. Plug in what you know, simplify it as much as you can, set it equal to the slope, and then solve for the missing item. Okay, I will see you on Monday. Hopefully this homework goes by quickly. Have a good weekend.